What's going on, guys? It's EcBoy, and um, these are just my YCS Orlando predictions. Um, I'm quite happy today because this arrived. My tour guide from the underworld. It looks really sick, and yeah, I'd like two more of these. Also an ultimate alert as well. Um, so yeah, happy about that. Yeah, just hopefully quick one. What I think will do well at the YCS. Obviously, Six Samurais. I think that this deck and Gravekeepers are the two main decks of the format. Just like, because between them both, they make it really hard to prepare your main and your side. Like, Shien shuts down spell and traps. So in like if there wasn't Gravekeepers and there was only Samurai, you would run more monsters, obviously, because Shien shuts down spells and traps. But like with Gravekeepers, they kill off monsters as well, especially if they drop this. And yeah, these two decks are like basically the two best of the format. Six Samurai just pump out this guy, and then they're really hard to counter against. And you know, if they open God or just open good, even they can just keep going, keep spamming, and just pretty much just beat you from the start. And Gravekeepers can keep grinding. With Recruiter and Descendant, they keep the field advantage, keep generating card advantage. So yeah, I think that not much will change in that respect. Those two will definitely be the decks to beat. I think the decks that are most primed to beat them, plants, and that's like most plant variants, because I know that there's Junk Doppel and Chaos and other versions like Psychic and TG and new ones that are being played. I am very certain that a plant build will do well, because they're good, and with the right build, you can play, you can have a decent Gravekeeper and Six Samurai matchups, which, as I said, are the two decks to beat. I think that Junk Doppel will probably be played a lot. It's missing stuff like Librarian, but it has Trish, and while there isn't Shooting Quasar, there is Tech Guinness Halberd Cannon, which is quite a good card in itself. So yeah, and also I think that Gemini Heroes will do well. Not necessarily the Debris version or anything, but the deck can stand on its own 2 feet, and like it's in a nice place where it has a pretty good GK matchup and a pretty good Six Samurai matchup at the same time. And yeah, it's just a good deck. I think that can do well. Other decks that I think may surprise people, Dragoonities. Not much has really happened with Dragoonities since their release. Um, they're a good deck. They just have a few problems like consistency issues, and that they're really easy to side against. Honestly, Dragoonity players have to side a load of back row hate to hit chain disappearance, and it's just a bit tough for Dragoonity players game 2. But they have a decent Samurai matchup and a decent, I guess, decent GK matchup. Again, depending on who goes first and all of that, because that's pretty much what it is for every match now. You go first, you do well. But yeah, they could do something, and I think that Scraps can do well, mainly because of the release of Scrap Arthros. I think that that is a really good card that just fixes one of the deck's biggest problems, which was consistency. Between 3 Scrapyard and 3 Arthros and 3 Scrap Storm, the deck has fixed a lot of its old problems, so it can keep pumping this guy and Scrap Twin. The priority ruling will obviously hurt it when it happens, but thus far it has not happened yet, so you know, with the right build and the right player, I think that it could work. Then a couple of rogue decks that I think probably won't, but you know, could. because they're good, and not many people have prepared for them. Fableds, which may seem quite weird, but the deck will definitely get a lot better once Hyper Librarian comes out, because like between this and Hyper Librarian, you draw like a fool and you just generate loads of advantage. But the deck is good, honestly. It's good stuff. Unicore is just really amazing if you get it out at the right time. Ragin is a great card as well. Grimro keeps everything consistent, and it's a good archetype, so it could work. And finally, my personal favorite, Psychics. I think that they may do well, maybe, because they're a really good deck. Honestly, I've been playing Psychics for well, since the new stuff came out and a bit before then, and some of the stuff they can do is just like no other deck this format can pull that off. They have access to the Naturia twins. A lock that you can do is with Beast, Halberd Cannon, and Decree, and if you have that out, then it's really hard to get past for most of the decks this format. I think that plants can get out of it, but yeah. You can go Colossal Armory, summon Red Nova, loads of stuff, and yeah, the deck is really good. The main problems though are consistency. Like you would need to get into that pretty much every single deal, which you won't, so it's tough. And also it has a pretty bad 6 Samurai and GK matchup. Like if the Samurai player starts and gets Ao Shien, and if the GK player starts and drops Royal Tribute, then the Psychic player is pretty much screwed. Like honestly. But you know, someone maybe with the right build, the deck will become a whole lot better once Hyper Librarian is released, because that fixes some of the issues that really stop this deck from being too competitive. But I think that a Psychic variant could do well. I don't think. Oh yeah, Sabers. I think that they might do well. Infinities potentially. I don't really know what else there is. I don't think that Frog Monarchs will do that well. Maybe the more synchro orientated version will do well, but I don't think that the older versions will, because Royal Tribute kills them too much, and just in general they don't do that well against Gravekeepers. Yeah, these are cards that I think will do well at the event. I think that you'll see Reborn Tengu, because it's just so splashable, and it really is a good card. Plants, Frog Monarchs, like there are synchro versions of Frog Monarchs now, where you just get this guy and a couple of other decent non-tuners like TG Warwolf, and you just generate so much advantage. This guy really is good. He's just splashable. You can put him into like pretty much any deck and he would still be good. Sort of like malicious, and yeah, it's defensive as well as offensive, so it's nice. I think that TG will be played because it's new and because it's good. I don't know whether it will actually do well or not, but it's good. Like these two are basically the main good ones. Warwolf is so good. It will be played in plants, maybe Frog Monarchs, probably. So if those two decks do well, and maybe a TG variant, TG deck will do well on its own. Last couple, Vela. I think that this will grow even more popular, like if that's possible. I think that 90% of like the top 16 will have at least 2 of these spread across their main and their side, because it really is good. I don't think that you can do well at a high level event without Vela, because it's just too good. And finally, 3 ally Birdman. I think that some people may play these, may do a decent deck with Birdman, so you might see it. This is one that I'm hoping to see. Maybe you won't see it, but I don't know, hopefully. Those are my predictions for this weekend. Let me know if you totally disagree or agree or somewhere in between with everything or anything that I've been saying. And hopefully after this weekend's passed, my predictions will be sort of correct. Yeah, eccentric boy.